So tonight I watched a terrible movie that I thoroughly enjoyed. One of my favorite things is like erotic thrillers and like romance thrillers and like shitty romance tinged horror. Like that kind of stuff I fucking love. Arguably my favorite author is Mary Higgins Clark. Her books are a little better than a lot of your average shitty erotic horror. Or she doesn't really write erotic horror, but she writes romance thrillers basically. But they're usually well researched and well plotted and tense. She's the queen of suspense. Okay, movies that aren't based on her books, which unfortunately there's only like one theatrical film based on her books and then like a couple of TV movies, and it's a bummer, but that's not what I'm talking about. Movies that are similar, I love them, but they're usually really bad. But I love them anyways because I love the structure, and I love even if I know what's gonna happen, I love watching it. I just love it. So with that in mind, today I went to see, and they tend to come out in September. So last year we had The Perfect Guy, and I missed it because I was only watching films by women, and I watched it twice earlier this year because it's really good. And then a couple of years ago there was No Good Deed, which I missed and still haven't caught up with, but I need to see that one because it's got Idris. But this September's addition to this canon is When the Bough Breaks. I guess on Wikipedia they're calling it a psychological thriller, but whatever. It's a romance thriller and with like an unhinged woman, and it is not respectful of women, really. It's not really respectful of pretty much anybody except like Morris Chestnut's character. That said, the Regina Hall character is a chef, and it was interesting to see. It's always nice to see a well-respected woman moving up in the world. Unfortunately, she's then like losing her grip on things because she can't have a baby. And this is a script written by a dude, so the nuance of like motherlessness, not motherlessness, but childlessness is not nuanced at all. And I felt like that was kind of a bummer. And then the reasons that the surrogate is unhinged are really, really terrible and really not too great for the world of the mentally ill or rape survivors or children of the system. So, that said, all of these things are terrible, and there should be some nuance and some, empathy. But it was still soapy as all hell and really enjoyable. Just gotta have to check all of that at the door and just know you're watching something that's terrible. And there's like this psycho boyfriend who is like the one. That's the other thing, is they show an abuser being horrible and he gets a comeuppance, and that's great. And they show Morris Chestnut as a would-be father being really empathetic, and he's the only one that's empathetic, really, and as emotional and vulnerable, and there's some man tears, and that's nice. And I think it's mostly like the performances are what sell this movie, because there's just not a lot of nuance in the characters or the plotting. But the plotting goes how you know it's gonna go, and it's fun. And these kind of characters always work in like, they're always lawyers or journalists or something like that. That's just how this genre works. So he's a high-powered lawyer, and she's a chef, and then they have this young surrogate lady. Michael K. Williams comes out of nowhere halfway through the movie as an investigator. That's fantastic. It's shot in New Orleans, so there's some pretty New Orleans-ness. But basically, it really does sort of feel like a movie that should be on Lifetime with a $10 million budget instead of a Lifetime budget. I don't know how this happened. I don't ask questions. I enjoyed it. The audience was great. I saw it with like the perfect mall audience with people like shouting things at the screen and you know, we're all at the same time going like, "Oh girl, why are you doing that?" And it was a great movie-going experience because we all knew we were going to see this crap. And we enjoyed it together. And I love that. So if you like this kind of shitty psychological erotic romance thriller kind of stuff, you'll probably like this movie. It hits all the marks that you expect from this kind of movie. If you want something more nuanced, this is not the movie for you. It is not nuanced. It is crap that I enjoyed. So there you have it. Directed by Jon Cassar. When the Bough Breaks. I feel like I've seen something else from this guy. Let's see here. Ooh. Oh. No wonder I enjoyed it. He directed Wicked City. That is a terrible TV show that I watched every single episode of. I loved. He's done a lot of other things too. 24, Nikita, The Kennedys, Criminal Minds, Fringe, The Dead Zone, Forever Night. Yes. He directed Chips 99. I wrote a review of Chips 99. That's a terrible film. Anyways, if you enjoyed Wicked City, you'll probably enjoy this movie. It's very similar. That's When the Bough Breaks. I don't know. You probably will hate it. I enjoyed it. It currently has 6 rotten reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, so you can see this is a critic-proof movie. If it's what you like, you'll like it. If it's not what you're into, just don't even bother. Unless you're a big Morris Chestnut fan, and then you get to like really ogle at him in really nice suits, which is, you know, always good. So, this was When the Bough Breaks. It just came out today. I liked it.